I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm a career coach, the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com and NoBSCoachingAdvice.com. I haven't done an AMA, an Ask Me Anything, in what feels like 100 years, but it's more like a month or so. I've been answering individual questions from people, but I've gotten backed up. So I've got 8 questions I'm going to try to address if I can read my handwriting. So I apologize if I flub something, but here's a couple of questions. Why are there no employees on a particular company page? There are 2 reasons. One, it's a very small firm. People haven't linked to the page yet, yada, yada, yada. The other one, and most people wouldn't know this, is let's say you're a consultant and you're incorporated and you have a company name and you enter it into your personal profile. LinkedIn doesn't recognize anything there for the company side. So it creates a page for you so that their data dictionary is balanced out between the profile side and the company side. Under the premise that maybe you'll grow and you'll want to link in everyone there. But that's the basic reason. So it's a micro firm in one answer or another, or it's a company that wasn't in the data dictionary previously that they added in. So that's question number 1. Number 2, I went back to school for a degree in business management. I've worked at a bank and I'm a branch manager. I've been so for quite a few years. What sort of opportunities are there for me? Let me tell you exactly what you've done wrong here. You've done this backward. What you should have done is find out what those opportunities were before you spent the money, before you spent the time, before you invested any effort in yourself to get this degree. After all, what's the point of doing this if you're going to go for a $35,000 a year job and you're making 90, 80, 120, whatever? Why didn't you find this out first? You're doing it backward. Don't waste my time. Number 3, should I look at the interviewer's LinkedIn profile even if they may know I have looked? Answer is absolutely. Let me tell you why. Number 1 is they may never notice because these folks often are very busy. As a result, all that happens is if you don't look, you're missing data. If they do look and discover you've looked at their profile, so what? Everyone looks at profiles these days. If anything, the absence of the look is going to be more curious. Now, there's a way in privacy settings where you can hide yourself from being identified to them by name. It may say something along the lines of fill in the blank job title at fill in the blank company. But what difference does it make? Just look at the profile, get the information that you need so that you're able to be well prepared. Next question. Why do companies throw so much red tape at people who apply for jobs at their firms? Man, red tape. You mean an application? Is that the red tape that you're talking about? Is it that they make you answer a bunch of questions? Like what kind of red tape? That you're going to have to interview on multiple occasions for them to want to hire you. Remember, they may have 1, 2, 5, 10 spots. They may have 1, 2, 500 people applying for them. They want to narrow down the scope so they can choose the person or people that are most qualified and who they believe fit into the organization. But I don't believe in fit. That's a different conversation. They do. So I'll just simply say, it's an obstacle course. You are absolutely right. There's an endurance contest quality to it. You're absolutely right. So what? Get over it. If you're asking this question, you're probably very junior. You're a commodity to them. You're not important. Get over yourself. If you want a job at that firm, keep plugging at it. If you don't want a job at that firm, don't bother. Go someplace else. It's really that simple. Globally, there's pretty good economy out there in most countries. As such, especially if you're in the US, if you don't want to go through this, go to a different company. Okay. Next question. Why is networking so important to getting interviews and offers? The answer is really very simple. 70% of positions are filled as a result of networking. Of the 70%, 70% of them, or 49% in total, come as a result of introductions to people that your network knows who you don't. Now, LinkedIn says the number is higher. They say it's 85%. They've got a vested interest in giving a high number. Let's say it's between 70 and 85%. 75%. Okay? Now, what does that tell you? 3/4 of jobs come as a result of networking. That's how you get interviews. That's how you get offers. People waste a lot of time on job boards and other situations like recruiters who don't fill that many jobs. So don't get invested in extraneous things. Networking more likely is the way to go for you. So that's why it's so important. Next question. Do hiring managers look at LinkedIn? Yes. In some firms, hiring managers make initial point of contact with people. They're doing it through LinkedIn. A recruiter may identify profiles. They're messaging out. The hiring manager is doing additional screening through LinkedIn. The common thing is if you're sending out a resume and they're interested, I know this is what I did in search. I would go to the LinkedIn profile to see if there was extra information, like you were lying to me. You know, your resume and LinkedIn profile aren't congruent. There's jobs missing between one or the other, or my database, by the way. That was always the funny one. The missing companies that are in my database that aren't on the current resume. Same thing with your LinkedIn profile. So yes, firms look because they're looking for congruence. How often do prospective employees actually check references? With large firms, it's a pretty common occurrence. With small firms, it should be common. It depends, but most firms will check references. Why? Even though they know the references can be contrived and fake, they're looking for a signal. Sometimes the signal is your reference, shall we say, is not all that quality. So that's a given. You know, that every once in a while, a hiring manager will slip and say something stupid that's critical about you. Sometimes the phony reference, the one that you set up to cover for that particular employer, you know, gives mediocre answers because they don't really know what they're talking about. So they're looking for signals that rule you out. So remember, LinkedIn can be used for this too. Let's say someone gives me as a reference because they say I can vouch for them as a software developer for the sake of argument and their work at such and such firm. Someone goes to my profile, they see I was a headhunter and a coach. What the hell would I know about their work at a particular firm? You're out of luck. So that's another reason they do it. So yes, they do check references. All size firms do. It's the exception that doesn't. If you receive an offer in person, I love this one. If you receive an offer in person, can you show emotion? You mean like jump up and down and go, yippee? You know, I got the, yay, I'm thrilled. Why would you do that? What's in it for you to do that? When what you could do is go, huh, and be quiet. And then say, hey, that's been great. I really appreciate this offer. I'm very excited. And I was wondering, could you do a touch better? What do you mean, could I do a touch better? Could you do just a little bit better? Because frankly, other firms are talking with me too, and they've given me the idea that they're going to be making offers like in the next day or two. So is it possible you might be able to do a touch better and thus negotiate with them a little bit? I was listening to a very funny interview with Steve Schwartzman, the president of Blackstone. He's got a book out, and It isn't about the book, but he was talking about being a kid out of Yale and going on an interview at a firm, getting his offer, and his first negotiating point with the chairman of this firm is, you know, could you do a little bit better, like 500 better? I want to be, get the highest salary in my graduating class, and someone's already received this offer. Could you do 500 more? And it's a hysterical story. I'm not going to go into detail now, but remember, you can always negotiate a little bit. It's not in your interest to show the emotion. It's in your interest to try negotiating up a little bit. I'm Jeff Altman. I hope you found these answers helpful. Visit thebiggamehunter.us. There's a lot more there that you can watch, listen to, or read that'll help you find work more quickly. And at my website, you can also schedule a free discovery call with me. We can chat, get acquainted, and see if I can be of help to you. If you're watching this on YouTube, notice the little icon in the lower right. Click the button if you want to subscribe to my channel. And if you have questions for me, you can always email them to me at thebiggamehunter.us. I'm sorry, at thebiggamehunter@gmail.com. Put a relevant subject line to let me know you've got a question. I may not get to it right away, but worst comes to worst, like for these folks, I can do an AMA for you. Hope you have a great day and take care.